Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to Mangaluru,
Thank you.
the city of heritage, and you are in Balmata Heavy Technical Training Institute building. It has got a history of 184-year-old building, and the institution is 62-year-old. The people are so nice, and I'm from Mysore. It's been 20 years coming to Mangalore. I never felt that I'm out of my city. People are so good. Ideal ice cream is very good. And everyone are emotionally connected. Officially, Heavy Technical Training Institute welcome you to Mangaluru from Mumbai.
Thank you, sir.
Kindly tell us about your journey in Mumbai and what made you to come to Mangalore.
Bombay, as it's already known and is famously known, was taken from a name by the Britishers. But originally, because of Mumba Devi, the name Mumbai came into prominence. But at heart, there's always a Mumbaikar, and always me personally, it's always a Bombay person, because the vision, the culture, and the growth of the city has been built by many people, and not just one community. I have been in Bombay all my life, and I do not know anything beyond. But because of having an open heart, open mind, culture, and also my education has allowed me and my interest levels to embrace both cities. So it's my kind of tale of two cities. And languages has always never been a hindrance. I could be called an unofficial United Nations ambassador. So I have imbibed Konkani in my dialect because it's a fusion of Hindi and Marathi. Not many people know. So I have studied in Bombay. I have worked in Bombay. I've experienced both cities because my family also, my dad also was from Naravi. Being a mechanical engineer, studied in Bombay. His roots have been very much part of the state. And he never turned back. But he always subtly, got us involved in some part of it and spoke fluent Tulu. He's no more amongst us, but his influence has been very strong. And today, as I speak to you, is because of his backing, his kind of encouragement, his kind of knowledge, his vision, I would say. And he was very inspired by his elder brother. So therefore, coming to Mangalore was coming back to something that I already knew. It is just I'm putting more efforts being here than what I was. So it's from one home to another. And the similarities are there, the fish, the seashore, the kind of culture, the bullock carts there in Bombay. Not many people know, but where we stay, just next to Shah Rukh Khan's house, Mannat. Just a few meters away, there's a road called Bullock Cart Road, which is still Bullock Cart Road. No matter if Shah Rukh is there and the former actress Rekha is staying there, there is a Bullock Cart Road. So where is the difference? It's only the question of maybe in terms of attire or maybe a little bit of more of Tulu. But I have worked in both capacities, and being a writer, I love to put pen to paper. There's nothing unusual that I've not known, but yes, there's so much more to look at, and I've visited the St. Aloysius Museum, and yes, I did my research. There were 3 museums, and every year I visit one place of historical interest. So in RBI Museum in Bombay, Mani Bhavan, and St. Aloysius Museum, the whole spectrum has been very enriching, and I encourage everybody to do that. So my next target would be another place. I'll have to shortlist where I want to go. Father Muller's Museum is in the neighborhood, but they have restricted timings. But I enjoy Mangalore. I am not complaining too much of the heat. I'm trying to get adjusted because hell is hotter. Like one priest had told us many years ago. Hell is hotter, so the heat should not matter. And I'm enjoying the mangoes and understanding a little bit of everything. Kannada is something I'm trying to work with, grasp, like I said.
So you can any Kannada word which you can speak?
The most beautiful word is now an eye-opener for a person who's new is Dhanyavad.
Dhanyavad.
And it is so easy because when I went to get my Aadhaar card, I nudged my mom and said, you have to tell me something here. So she said, just learn 2 words. Sarpa, which means you're capturing the language a little by little, a drop in the ocean. And she said, say Dhanyavad. And I looked at her, I said, are you sure that is a word in Kannada? She said, yes, it is. It means thank you. I said, but in Hindi also we say that. And like in Arabic, you have shukran, which is shukriya in Hindi. So you see, the world is a global village. So I said, okay, Dhanyavad. And it brings the biggest and the most beautiful and genuine smiles in Mangalore when I just say Dhanyavad. And it's interesting. So that gives you motivation, that gives you encouragement. And I think I wish I had a two-wheeler. I would have really, tapped into the areas and done my own photography because I'm passionate about the visuals and art. Yes, long way to go,
Yes,
but
yes.
one step is always important.
Sitting next to a legend who's a writer, photographer, the way she thinks is out of the box. We are so proud to sit next to you, ma'am. Today is the present era of artificial intelligence, machine learning, drone technology. But the drone technology is taken from Eagle Eye. Eagle. You are doing some interesting project with regards to Eagle. Can you please elaborate on that?
Well, it stemmed from a very personal experience, and that experience is adjusting to a certain part of the culture of Mangalore because everybody has its own DNA. One cannot say that we are the best, but everybody brings a certain degree of speciality and uniqueness, and that you have to embrace. So I was trying to say, like they say in Rome, do like the Romans. I was trying to do that, try to see how I can blend in terms of the wardrobe, in terms of the eating habits. And I was glad to say that, it is enriching. So, where do I get my source? Only my faith. And then I saw a lot of eagles in my area where I'm staying. And I was very inspired by, that's you don't see that in Bombay. That's a shocker, a spoiler. For all that I know, Bombay, my last 3 or 4 decades of being in Bombay, there is no eagles that you can see of or vouch for. Forget the vultures. There are vultures also supposed to be there, but that also become extinct. And I saw these eagles and I was inspired by their height and all the strength and the power and the kind of regalism that comes with the bird. I was floored. And I said, yes, and being a Christian by faith, we have that in our holy book of the Bible. He will lift you up in eagle's wings. And that helped me a lot.
True.
To say, oh, I should aspire. Not in arrogance, but he takes the moral high ground and he does his job quietly. And I was inspired by that. So my project was basically Eagles of Mangalore, where I'm going to talk about how they have adopted, how they have made it their own, how they are comfortable with the environment, and how humans also have not challenged their presence, and they are living in harmony. So I can give a simple example if some people are interested. In Father Muller's, when you go towards the chapel, I go to the service over there, there's an eagle nest and I have a photograph to prove it. And who can claim that you've seen an eagle nest? National Geographic will tell you that. But I had personally said, yes, there's another story there to tell. There's another story to observe. And I said, yes. And we can do that kind of a thing. So I wanted to tell everybody that, we can collaborate and make it like a crowdfunding project and give that information out there. There's another tourism story for Mangalore city that, that in an urban environment, you have something which is natural, nature has come and made it their home, or rather, I've come there as a visitor and the eagles are there. So I hope to do that project in 2026. It's not too difficult. Rainy season would be challenging because of the season itself. But definitely I would definitely like to explore that and, bring it as my contribution as part of, the society that I've just made my own.
Yes, it is such a wonderful out-of-the-box thinking. Definitely it is going to be beneficial to the city of Mangalore.
And then of course we can always make it like a season, like a series. I think we can work on it like a 1.0 or 2.0 and see where it takes us. Yeah.
You were there in Mumbai, Bombay. Take an example of train or dabbawalas. They both are doing extremely well. What suggestion you can give it to the people of Mangalore for the future?
The concept of dabbawalas is basically getting home food. Yes, and that I think anybody is doing that to a great extent. Of course, the canteens are there, the academic ecosystem is already there, where they provide the food at the canteen and cafeterias. The logistics is what is important. There are MBA studies that I've done on the dabbawalas, and Prince Charles, current king of UK, England, had met these professionals, so to speak, because they look at a number, alphanumeric, they know where to go, and they've never made a mistake. True. That's a Six Sigma kind of accuracy. Thanks to my father again, because of his engineering. We were inspired, and I was inspired to read their case study. So I think Mangalore should adapt and see where the kind of path is there which can bring about this kind of, service, so to speak. and it creates a lot of interesting ecosystem. So you have the catering aspect, you have the delivery aspect, you have the employment aspect, you have the education aspect as to
Yes.
how without much kind of formal kind of upbringing
Upbringing.
or letters that they are able to still deliver
Oh yes.
accurately.
Accurate.
Keyword is accurately. And I think Mangalore should also embrace that and see where that opportunity is. You know, you can do a pilot test and sample it in a particular area and then, you know, exponentially expand it to it. But that kind of thinking should be there first. That whether there's an opportunity. It's no use doing it and then saying it
Without-
was a flop. And there are many distractors who would
Correct,
say
correct.
that. I would encourage that we would look at the path where it is. Like we have midday meals, something which I'm very passionate, and I've seen a lot of the sad stories, and I really want to make that change. So in midday meals, we can do something. So if you are looking at distribution, we can start with the children.
Correct. Correct.
Because they are the future, they are the present
Correct,
also.
correct,
I
correct.
think that aspect has to be done. And then of course we need this kind of support, either maybe in kind or otherwise. So I think that is a
That
very
is a-
important experiment that we can nurture and sustain. I
Yes.
think.
Yes. You just say that your father was a mechanical engineer.
Yes.
Hebik Technical Training Institute is also into mechanical education. We are into the technical education, particularly mechanical stream. What suggestion you can give it to the young ITI graduates? What needs to be done? How to create their career, and what is the industry is expecting from budding engineers, from according to your point of view?
I have only one word: practical.
Yes.
Because we are all book driven, but what happens in at the shop floor is something a different story. And I speak from experience, so therefore I'm saying, when I started off my career, I had a crisis, and then I said, oh, what is the thing I learned in my classroom that I need to apply here? Because sometimes you may be able to do the jigs and bolts story,
Correct.
but when it comes to the place of the factory, it's a different story. So you need to be agile. You need to be able to get one part of it in terms of actual exposure. And don't say that AI is going to do everything for you. No. I want to break it out to the globe that AI is a tool. And I have been hammered at home that it's only a tool. At the end of the day, it's the human being that yields and, you know, demonstrates the fact that AI is going to, you know, do the job and not the other way around. So I think for a technical institute, I think it's important that we imbibe this particular aspect, that you need to control the narrative, that you need to control the end goal and then move it forward. Because at the most, people are in learning workshops, experiments, they're going out into the kind of organizations and they're saying, okay, fine, this is what I'll do. But then we need to cultivate that in the mindset that besides studies, where can I apply my mind? Where can I look at the parallel kind of narrative that needs to be done? Okay. My father, I'll give an example. He was also in charge of the quality, and I told him, Dad, you might have been a Japanese in your previous life, because he was in charge of the quality department.
Quality.
And his precision, like how we have version control and quality, which I also had the experience of, was 1.1, 1.02. That version control was something he created his own tools. He used to get his team members, so he should make tools and fabricate them at the workshop. Okay, and he used to always innovate. Now, he was just saying, okay, mechanical engineer, he was working in an iron and steel plant, and his job would have been done. But no, he made his tool and he had a toolbox. So that's how I think the engineers should look at, you know, just saying I'm a mechanical, I should call him mechanical engineer, civil engineer, hydraulic. His brother was in electronics, so he was in electronic engineering. He was a multifaceted, and he was a gardener at heart. He used to go to the Rose and flower show in Bombay, and he used to tell us go. And I said, what is it to do with engineering? He said, no, but that was his de-stressing time. And because of his green thumbs, because he was good in gardening, my neighbors used to call it the Mughal gardens. Because his roses were so beautiful. And my mom always said, those were your first children. So I think an engineer has to look at the other aspect. Your best engineer is God, because he's engineered the whole universe. And I think engineers should look at that also aspect, you know. And then they say we are out of work. Now, of course, they're startup companies. But I am very upset with startup companies. The problem is that they should also look at sustaining. How do you make
Most important.
you grow and keep that thing going? So don't bite off more than you can chew. Okay, I also have a goal. If I want to do something in my project, I will say like I want to start something small. I'll start with something with 4 photographs. So I'll do with 8 photographs and 1 or 2 buffers to make sure that I can amplify it or have that growth story continue if I want to. Durandar is a classic example. One was still raha tha, dusra aa gaya. So I think that is
That's
very
very
important. And I feel very upset that engineering students do not have the kind of potential that they need. And then you have a brain drain scenario. I think there has to be a fusion. Somewhere is like how my father did mechanical and he was interested in civil engineering. He designed a whole blueprint of a particular plot which he sent to the fathers because he was inspired by somewhere he could improve the situation. But that's not going to the podium. He actually made the blueprint and he told the priest, this is
So
what I
it
want
is
to
to
do for the church. And he took the trouble. His lettering, I still have some of his documents.
Yes. We call it as engineering script.
Yes, lettering. And that time I used to say if you put a axis, you would get the Y and X axis in his lettering. And that was his. And he had the T squares and the blueprints. And when he went to Delhi, he said, the roads are so beautifully done. He used to bring parts from the Eastern European area. And he said, Delhi roads are incredible. Why not they do it in Bombay?
Bombay.
So I'm thinking engineering students should look at that aspect. I think we have to do, besides the 6 subjects, they have to do another subject in understanding how do I put that engineering.
Practical aspect of
Yes.
it. You rightly said, Pam. It is skill set is very important. As I said, practical. You have to be skillfully perform the job so that you can achieve the target.
But don't achieve perfection because that's how you get stagnant. I would suggest you need to make sure that there's room for mistakes and that's how you learn.
Precision to perfection and continuous improvement. That is very important. Ma'am, thank you very much for your kind time and we are so happy that you are there with us and spend quality time with us. Once
Yes,
again,
yes.
thank you from Hebik Technical Training Institute.
Thank you, sir.